Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, and this is the hearing officer hearing, the second one of the month. I'm going to read something into the public record, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into our agenda this afternoon. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out both the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the City of Tempe. Code violations include, but are not limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, the storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain their voluntary compliance with the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to abate a code violation, or authorize the city to abate the condition that's giving rise to that violation. The cost of such abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and may be collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 6 items. We have a set of minutes and 5 property abatements. As the hearing officer, I've reviewed the Community Development Department report on the items being considered today, and I use this report as part of my decision, and additionally, I drive by the sites in question so that I can have a good understanding of the conditions of the property in question. Any property owner who's aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on March 31st, 2020. Abatement appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they may be appealed to the Superior Court. The property owner has 14 days to either file an appeal or bring the property into code compliance. And if neither of these things happen by this date, by this same March 31st date, the property will be abated by the city. Joining us this afternoon from Code Compliance are Shelby Meyer to my left. Drew Yoakum is at the back of the chamber this afternoon. In case you hadn't noticed, we're in beautiful council chambers. They've been remodeled, and this is our hearing after being absent from the chamber in quite a while. The first item on our agenda is a set of minutes from the March 3rd, 2020 hearing. I wasn't present at that hearing. That hearing was presided over by an alternate hearing officer, Wendy Springboard. She and I exchanged emails regarding the minutes. I can't approve them since I didn't actually attend that hearing. So she sent me an email letting me know that she had read through the minutes and she believed that they accurately reflect what took place at that meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to Shelby so you can keep it in the record. So those minutes are approved. First item on our agenda is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Stutzman property located at 1717 East Pebble Beach Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented today by Julie Schofield.
Good afternoon, Ms. McDonald. Julie Schofield, Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. And this property is located at 1717 East Pebble Beach Drive. It's had a number of violations, including deteriorated landscaping, junk and debris, a broken pool fence, lawn parking, unregistered vehicle, a green pool. This case has been open since November 8th of 2019. After several notices and attempting to make contact with the owner, a few items have been corrected, and the only violation that remains as of this morning was the landscaping. As you can see, it's a small amount, but it is still in violation, and this property has been known to be in violation several times for the landscaping. So my fear is that if the abatement is not approved tonight, it will immediately become in violation again. And
And when you abate this property, do they spray like a pre-emergent all over the property, or do they just, how do they handle those weeds?
yes, what they would do, per our request, they would cut down the weeds to ground level and then spray with the pre-emergent, so that hopefully to deter any future growth.
Right. Okay.
And like I said, they have taken care of all the violations except for the landscaping in the front yard.
So they understand that you're here this afternoon and just to finalize the abatement.
That is correct. In fact, right before I walked over here, I was talking to the tenant that's currently residing there, letting her know that I'm still going forward with the abatement process.
Okay, and the pool has been taken care
The
of?
pool has been completely cleaned and taken care of, yes.
Okay. Terrific. You're not asking for 180 days?
Well, I would like to request actually 180 days due to the history of this property.
Okay. It wasn't noticed as a 180 days. Is that something we can do? It doesn't matter? Okay.
Um,
Okay.
It is requested on my recommendations on the history of the property.
Oh, okay. It's just not.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's on the front.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sure. Well, I agree with you. There's just, they're like 90% there, so they just have a little bit left in order to bring the property in compliance. But given the fact, as you said, there's a history of this property being out of compliance, I'm going to go ahead. There's no one here from the public. I should make that announcement. There's no one here from the public to speak this afternoon. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your abatement request for the property located at 1717 East Pebble Drive.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3 is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the C&C Way property located at 3318 South Terrace Road. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented once again by Julie Schofield.
Yes, this property has been open since November 13th of 2019. It's been in violation of unregistered vehicles, junk and debris in the front and backyard. I've made several attempts with notices and even issued a citation that went ignored. I do have some pictures of what it currently looks like today. I have been in contact with the tenant. So this is one of the unregistered vehicles. And as you can see, it does have a temp tag. However, it expires in 2 days. So my fear is that after the expiration date, this vehicle will still remain at the property. Here is the backyard in the current condition, which he did a lot of work. As you can see, he has done a lot of work since the before pictures. However, there's still some items in the back that we would require to be removed.
Yeah, I would definitely, it's almost like he's running a contractor's yard out of this
Yes,
property.
it's a lot of scaffolding
Right.
in the backyard. So today, I would like to ask for a 180-day abatement to remove the unregistered vehicles
Okay.
and also for the junk and debris in the backyard.
But the scaffolding isn't regarded as junk and debris, right? Or-
Well, it seems to be in excess, so I have actually talked to him earlier about trying to remove some of it, and the ladders.
Okay. It's just been my experience with other zoning ordinances that typically a contractor's yard, people can keep their work materials in their yards. They can't extend above the fence. So I would make him take down the ladders. He's got it at the moment. I mean, the photographs were different than what's represented today. He has made quite a bit of progress.
Correct. And
If he can organize the scaffolding in this picture and the ladders the way the other stuff is organized, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a code violation. It just shouldn't be able to be seen from either a neighboring property or the street, certainly.
Okay.
So if you can help him organize it to that degree, that would be great. And then, yeah, I still see junk and debris. Yeah, exactly. We're
here.
looking at the same thing. If you can get that.
And then he also has some paint cans in here and in here. And I have talked to him today about those items. And also, there's just like a fish aquarium
Yeah, whatever
here and
that
some
is.
random.
Should go. I mean,
items.
anything like the other stack of the scaffolding, it looks like the guy's a painter, frankly. If he can organize that in a fashion such that it can't be seen from a neighboring property, there's not leaves and weeds and stuff going through it, I would say it's okay, but any of that other ancillary stuff should go. And then obviously the inoperable vehicle. And hopefully his tags will come in, and in 2 weeks, maybe you go out there and the vehicle is registered. Nevertheless, I mean, again, this is one that I think is almost there, but not quite. So I want to give you the authority to do everything you need to do to keep him on task
Okay, appreciate that.
and move towards abatement. Sure, Mr. Tamulevich.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. One of our biggest concerns is that when people do store things in their backyard, it just becomes excessive. So regardless of what the material is and how nicely it's stacked, we have properties that we deal with that have, this times 25. So it's hard for us to regulate, a certain amount, but when it becomes this much, it becomes excessive in our eyes. Because the next thing they'll do is they'll store something else. So we'll see 25 bicycles as well.
Right.
The inspectors are out there addressing this from that type of standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want me to amend my previous comments, or how do you view this property? Is this excessive?
Yeah, I think this is excessive. I think, something like this could be stored inside either the home, the garage, or in some type of a accessory unit that they could have in the backyard. And this is what we've told the property owner time and time again.
Okay.
So once you start storing things outside, that's when we start getting complaints from residents saying, hey, they're doing a home occupation that's illegal.
Right.
And,
Would he be able to, if he put a storage unit in the backyard, complying with all the setbacks, because those setbacks are going to
Yeah.
apply, obviously, then he could put all this stuff inside?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And, if you'd like to give, we can relay that message to him and provide them an extra 30 days or something along those lines, if that would be
I think that
in your
would be,
best interest.
Yeah.
But, at this point, we haven't received really a positive response from this individual.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I guess just looking at the photographs that were taken in January, and given the fact I didn't look in the backyard, I just typically don't do that. It looked like he had made measurable progress and gotten rid of, the toilets, the chairs, all the random things. So yeah, if you could give him that direction, that would be great.
Yes. will
So
do that.
again, I'm going to approve your 180-day request for abatement of nuisance items at 3318 South Terrace Road.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Agenda item number 4 is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Robbins property located at 513 West 17th Place. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented today by Ashley Nichols.
Good evening, Hearing Officer McDonald.
Good evening.
I'm Ashley Nichols, Code Inspector with the City of Tempe. And the property is for the 513 West 17th Place. Started as a complaint we had received for the landscaping and the inoperable unregistered vehicles. It wasn't a fire, and I did have contact with the property owner early on, and they did at one point make quite a bit of progress. And
Okay.
then as of late last fall, all contact has stopped, and they haven't returned any more phone calls. They were issued a citation which they failed to appear on, and the property remains in violation. The landscaping has actually gotten quite a bit worse.
I'm sure it has.
And I do have some photos that were taken just a little bit ago today.
Okay. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can see in the photo, the grass and weeds have gotten fairly high. Most of it, it's even hard to tell that it's a gravel landscape anymore. The vehicles are located behind this dumpster that's now in the driveway, but they still remain.
Wow. So he or she initially began trying to be compliant and then just cut off all communication.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I agree with your assessment that the property definitely needs to be abated. You're asking for 180 days, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to approve your request to abate the nuisance items located at 513 West 17th Place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
You too. Thanks.
Next item on our agenda is a request for abatement of a public nuisance items at the Kuhn property located at 2625 South River Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented today by Michael Glab. Mr. Glab.
Good evening. Michael Glab, Residential Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. I'm here tonight in reference to this property at 2625 South River Drive here in Tempe. In December of this year, I conducted a property abatement for this property. This body had previously approved an abatement for junk and debris in the carport of the property. Once junk and debris was removed, I was able to see, had clearer view of a green pool. I had previously responded to a green pool at this property related to, it was a pool cover that had become flooded due to rain, and so the pool cover had green water growing on the surface. The owner did drain that. However, due to lack of maintenance, the pool cover eventually ripped, and then the entire pool became green. The property owner has failed to remedy items at this property in the past. He was sent 2 notices, and one was posted to the residents as well. He was granted an extension as well and still failed to comply with city code. The front yard has grass and weeds throughout the gravel landscaping and then the green pool. At this time, I'm seeking 180-day open abatement period due to the repeat green pool violations as well as the lack of landscape maintenance in the front yard.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with your assessment about this property. I didn't know that there was that level of deterioration in the backyard. No one is here this afternoon to speak on this agenda item, so therefore I'm going to approve your 180-day open abatement request for the Kuhn property located at 2625 South River Drive. Thank you. The last item on our agenda this afternoon is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Brunson property. This is located at 1108 East Alameda Drive, and the applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented again by Michael Glab.
Good evening again. This property at 1108 East Alameda Drive here in Tempe I responded to a complaint that our office received in October of 2019 related to junk and debris on the property, including the backyard landscape. Throughout the course of November and December, I observed some progress with the front of the property, but no progress with the backyard. I then eventually cited both the property owners and appeared in court. One of the defendants was found not responsible as a result of 2 citations being issued, but the other defendant was found responsible. And then in January, I did grant an additional extension to the property owners. I was advised of a medical issue with one of the property owners with his arm. As of now, 2 months since then, still have seen little to no change in the backyard landscape. I'm seeking abatement approval for junk and debris removal from the backyard of this property. At this time, I'd like to refer to one of the photographs. Right here, you can see that there's a tire pile, a wheel pile. And then there's cardboard boxes that have become waterlogged. They've been there for the duration of my case. You can see that there's various appliances or cooling units or some kind right there in the backyard landscape.
What's off to the left?
I do have a better photograph of that. It's a debris or clothes pile. It's been at various levels throughout the course of my case. So it's not necessarily the same exact items each time, but it has been in that same location during that time. And then you have empty buckets, paint buckets stored over here as well as over here. So due to the amount of debris in the backyard landscape still being present as of today at 12 o'clock, I'm seeking an abatement approval for 180-day open abatement window.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree that this property needs to be abated. I was curious about the amount of the abatement. Given the extensiveness of the junk and debris, the dollar amount seems a little on the low side. Can you explain that?
Unfortunately, I don't know how the contractor came to their determination. I did not have a discussion with the contractor as to how they made that determination, but I did describe that I was asking for the bulk of the stored items in the backyard landscape to be removed.
Okay. And there is no PD, police department in this abatement. I'm just saying if whatever flexibility you need, unless I'm looking at an incorrect.
By chance, is the receipt from or the bid contract from the contractor present as part of the packet?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not listed as an item on there?
No, it's not.
I may need then to amend the case, as we definitely will be needing PD presence on site for this property. I've had 2 face-to-face contacts with both property owners. Ms. Brunson was displeased with my presence in both instances, and Mr. Brunson was only receptive one of the 2 times that I was in contact with him.
Okay.
While the other time he was as equally displeased with my presence as Ms. Brunson was.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that you have the authority and everything that you need to remediate the property, because it is, I would say, in dire need of remediation. So maybe it's an attachment from another case or something, but just double check that.
I will.
So there is no one here this afternoon, and we're well into almost 30 minutes into the hearing. So it's our last item on the agenda as well, but given the fact that there's no one here to speak, and I agree with your assessment of the property, I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day abatement request for the public nuisance items located at 1108 East Alameda Drive.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our hearing this afternoon. The next hearing officer hearing, according to my calendar, is April 7th. Is that it?
Actually, we're going to amend that. The next hearing won't be held until April 21st here at the Tempe City Council
Okay.
chambers.
Perfect. Thank you, and we're adjourned.
What's that?